Hello, everyone, and welcome to the show. You can see here that we're going to be talking about John Wetton today. We're going to be learning from him. He's going to be our muse, and I'm going to bring up on the screen a little bit of the music that you'll be hearing that we'll be working on, so you know kind of what's here and why you should stay. So here we go. We're going to be listening to this part of John Wetton's recording, and let me put it up on the stage for you all. Here we go. All right, so you can see him and hear him.
'Cause it was the heat of the moment, telling me what my heart meant.
All right.
The heat of the moment.
Okay, so we also have a guest today, which I'll be bringing in. His name is Tony Silva. Give us just a moment. We were running a hair late, and so we couldn't get him ready quick enough. He's that way, you know. Just, oh, wait, I can hear you. Well, that's because we're on FarPlay. All right. So go to. So that's what happens when you don't think people are listening to you, right? You get in lots of trouble. Okay.
The big picture of John Wetton is still up in front of your stuff.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
I just need to get you in here.
Yeah.
Come on, guys, one thing at a time. All right. So you'll probably have to. Yeah. Okay. So here's the new link, and he knows how to get in now. So we will go ahead and remove this copy of.
So I'm leaving
John.
the old
Yeah,
studio.
you're leaving the old
back
studio
in.
and
Okay.
coming into the new.
Okay,
And
coming in now.
Close this guy out. I don't even know why he's here. Well, it doesn't matter. Okay, so as we always say, this is live, and I'm proud to be live. Hi, Monique. All right, thank you for joining us today. So nice to see a person that I love so much and enjoyed working with so much, and always enjoy. That last recording you sent me was incredible. I responded to it, but I don't know if you heard it. But whoa, Monet loves a great artist. Here he comes. Here's Tony. Okay, we're gonna add him to the stage. Hi, Tony.
Hi, guys. I have
All right,
to
so
mute this
Tony,
tab.
yeah, and we can talk. We can cross talk. So if you hear both of us at the same time, that's because of FarPlay, which is a wonderful. You're welcome, Monet. Which is a wonderful thing that I use on these broadcasts so that you can hear Tony and I at the same time. So you get double your pleasure, double your fun. All right. If you've never heard that commercial, I understand. It's kind of an old one now, but that used to be double mint gum. Okay. All right, I'm settling in now. All right, welcome everybody. Feel free to chat. Tony is watching the chat window. I had to close it so I can continue with these examples. But he'll tell me what you said, and then I'll respond to it because he is such a great guy. Okay,
I can't respond to the texts for some reason. But
you don't
I can
see the
them.
chat window?
I
Oh,
can
no,
see-
you
yeah, I
can't
can
respond.
see
Just
them.
tell
I just
me.
can't respond. That's all.
Yeah, all you have to do is read them.
Okay.
Yeah, we went through this yesterday, and that worked out really well.
Great.
So I'm going to bring up Melodyne. Tell me when I'm at the place that you want to, the place that I'll be able to tell.
Okay.
So we're going to play this from the beginning, but we're going to isolate a certain section of it. So you'll enjoy it. It's a lot of fun to listen to this.
So, Doug just said, how was your day?
Yeah, how was your day? How was your day?
My day was great. How about yours?
Well, great. I went to the swimming pool and got all exercised out and all that kind of stuff. I'm going to put this on the screen so you can see what I'm doing. This is called Melodyne, and while we're kind of listening to this in the background, I'll be able to explain a little bit about it. Share. Okay, very good. And put it up on the stage. All right, everyone, this is Melodyne. And this is John's voice without music, which is really cool because we can evaluate it now.
One thing I said that I would never do.
There we go.
One look from you and I would fall from grace. And that would wipe the smile right from my face. Do you remember when we used to dance? And it's a dance arose from circumstance.
Here he's coming.
One thing led to another, we were young.
It's part of the chorus.
and we would scream together, song, song, song. 'Cause it was the heat of the moment,
Here it's
telling me what my heart meant.
Okay, this is what we're going to look at right here. I'm going to expand this for you. This is a software called Melodyne that's used for editing all parts of music nowadays. Incredible stuff. Okay, here we go. So I'm just going to make these, as they are affectionately called, blobs, bigger to see, so that, because I know the screen's a little small, and let's close this up a little bit. There we go. Okay, so right from here, I believe, is where we're at. So we're evaluating this.
It was the heat
here we
of the moment, telling me what my heart meant.
Okay, so this is a recording of live. This is John Wetton of Asia Live. And we like live because, generally speaking, it's not overly edited. And so now I'm looking at it not as an editor, but as an evaluator. That's what I wanted to explain. So let me fix this one section here for you, so I can put the arrow up. Welcome to the recording studio, folks. This is what it's like. All right, so you see here he kind of jumps up, and we talked about his slide, and we're going to talk about that today because that's one of the easier things that beginners can work with, is that, So as I play it again, right from there, you'll hear the slides he does.
'Cause it was the heat of the moment, telling me what my heart meant.
Right, so these slides right here, you can see them. They don't tell us the exact pitch necessarily, but they tell us that's what he's doing. Now, let's look at his actual pitch, though. What we want to kind of talk about is that great artists sing a little off key and a little off rhythm. That's the great way to be a singer. To be perfectly on pitch and perfectly on rhythm is not the great way, and we'll explain and show you very clearly why as we go through the show. So hang in there, because we're talking about my vocal muse system, which helps you learn the real thing that Tom Wetton is doing, not the one that some voice teacher taught you, or that a musician taught you, or that who knows who taught you. If you didn't learn it this way, maybe there's another way. Put in the comments what it is. I'd be more than happy to hear it. But we're going to talk about exactly what Tom Wetton is doing, pretty much down to the nitty-gritty. There's going to be things we miss because we don't have all day. And he's got so much information in here. You guys are going to love this. So right here, he's flat. And if you can see this little box up here, it says minus 25 cents. The note is D4, and it's 25 cents flat. The next pitch, where he kind of slides up to it, is only 1 cent flat. So he's kind of in the heat. So again, you hear those slides in there. He makes two notes out of one. This one, he's right on the pitch. This one here, 22 cents sharp. So here he's sliding through here. He goes, this is where the word heat is, and it's 5 cents flat. And here is 8 cents sharp. We're going to be a little sharp right here. This is just a little inflection, 27% sharp. So what I'm showing you is how erratic great singers are. And you say, well, wait a minute, well, how do I figure out how to be erratic? Well, we'll get to that. Here's it sharp. Oh, my, almost a 50% sharp. Flat. Right on pitch here. So again, as I play that, what's amazing is you won't notice. So I'm going to play this. You will not notice the flat and sharp notes because you rely on John to be a great artist, and he is. So you trust him. So listen again.
'Cause it was the heat of the moment, telling me what my heart meant.
All right. Isn't that great? I mean, we don't care about all this. We just love him. Now, the next thing that we can show you here on Melodyne, I have two softwares, so I get a little confused. Anyway, besides other reasons, Brad is not perfect either, and he doesn't pretend to be perfect. So that's why I don't edit these shows.
No, I won't accept that.
You
Monique said
you
the
won't
only
accept.
way I know is what you taught me.
I taught you that I'm perfect?
No. Monique said a couple of minutes ago that the only way she knows is what you taught her.
Oh, right. And what you taught me, Monique. Oh, I love it. Okay. Anyway, let's get back to what I was talking about here. Okay, so this is reality. This is what the real singing sounds like. And the rhythm here is also played with. So great artists, even though they know where the beat is, dun, ba, da, 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 he is playing with the rhythm. And that's going to become a lot more obvious and easy to understand when we get into Audacity and we're actually learning from John himself. This is just to demonstrate that if you've been taught that you should sing perfectly on pitch and perfectly on rhythm, no slides, always perfect diction, blah, 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 that you're not going to be in Tom Wetton's world. You're going to be in some other world. It's going to be probably more classical or choir, and those are great worlds. You know, if you want to sing in those worlds, do it. Just don't bring that world into this world, because the audience that wants to hear this is going to be turned off by you singing Tom Wetton's song as if you were an opera singer or something like that. So be careful who you learn from and how you learn it. I know I'm biased towards my opinion, but all of my students, ever since I've been introducing them to them, no matter who they've come from, how great the voice teacher was, they've never been exposed to this, and they're so appreciative. Right, Tony?
Absolutely.
I pay him $100,000 a year.
I'm still waiting for the check.
Yeah.
I know it's coming.
So these, it's in the mail. So these vertical lines show us that he comes in late here, early here, late here. He ends, who knows, somewhere in here, but he's late or early here. I mean, it would take a lot more evaluation than you really want to go through. I just want to make sure that you understand that he's playing with the beat. He's playing with the 16th notes. I mean, these are 16th notes, and this is a very slow melody. So this is quite a bit of information. And if you tried to figure it out music theory-wise, you would probably go crazy. That's why I'm not going to do it, because I don't want to go crazy. All right, so we're going to get out of Melodyne now. Any questions about that, Tony, before I disappear?
No, sir, not yet. If there's any questions that anybody wants to type up, I will relay them to Brad.
Yeah, if you want to chat in a question, say, what is Melodyne? You know, whatever. If you missed the earlier part of the discussion, please let me know. Not very many singers have seen this. This is done in the mixing booth. Okay, all right, we'll move on then. Okay, get back to StreamYard. So I don't have a producer. I do have Tony who helps me, but I don't have a producer, so you kind of have to let me do my thing without being too overly impatient. And I also kind of want to mention to you, as we're going through the show, you'll see these two QRs. This QR code is for my Video Muse Suite, which will explain everything about the system from A to Z, so you can learn it all by yourself. People say, well, why am I coming to you, Brad? Well, I help my students go much faster than just giving them a video and sending them home. So this is for people who don't have the money to get to me or can't get to me, or just don't want to work with a private coach. The QR to the right is my book, which is called Sing From Feel, Unleashing Your Authentic Voice. And we will be talking about emotional expression all through the show. We've been studying it. Didn't know that, did you? When we were watching John Wetton.
You don't like that name very much, do you?
I don't. Yeah. Well, it's Tony I don't like, and then it's Tom I don't like. I mean,
yeah,
you can't
Tony,
keep track
Tom.
of me.
That's
Don't
all.
even try. I mean, but point being is, I love it when Tony's here because we laugh a lot more than some of our guests. Anyway, not to say anything wrong with them, just that they're more serious. Where was I, Tony? Okay. Let's see.
Sorry, I threw you off.
Oh, yeah, the Sing From Feel book. So it goes into detail how to sing from feel live in the recording studio, what to do about if they over limit your voice in the studio and you're straining and you don't know why. It's very, very in-depth. There's no vocal technique in it, though, other than breathing. And there's no vocal technique in this show. I do not teach vocal technique in books, videos, live stream shows, video shorts. I don't do that because it's wrong. I don't want to put you in the position of being the teacher and the student at the same time. Now, if you are a very advanced student, say you already knew everything, then you could probably handle those exercises very well. But if you don't know how to integrate internally what it feels like to do it right, you're a blind person walking around the house bumping in your nose and breaking the china and everything else. So we want to stay away from getting into bad habits like that. How do I know? Because people come to me that have worked with these programs and they have bad habits, and then we have to break them. So not only did they have to pay for the program, they had to pay for me to break it. So let's just stay away from that. That's why you will not find that here. Okay, the next thing we're going to bring up is sheet music, which is another popular way that people try to learn how to sing. Now, when I say another, I didn't mean to imply that you tried to learn it from Melodyne. But I was showing you, so we'll say, just for the sake of argument, that I was showing you. Let's see here. I've got... where is he? Okay. Just give me a moment, folks. This won't take long. Scores. Is the name of the song Heat of the Moment, Tony?
Yes, it is.
Okay, Asia.
They were one of those super groups back in the 80s.
They sure were.
They were really, all of them were pretty amazing.
Okay, looks like this
Wetton
one.
definitely had a very unique approach and a very unique voice.
Yes, well, that's what you all are going to be learning from him, his uniqueness and how to be unique yourself. So it's really cool that way. Let's see if I'm going to be able to get this the way I want it. If not, I'll find another way to do this, but I think we're going to be good here, because here's the chorus. Let's see, the moment show. Yeah, all right, here we go. All right, so this will work. Download this. Okay, I'll buy it. Just give me a sec, folks. Only the score. Yep. Continue. Save. Yep. While we're doing this, I recommend that you kind of watch what I'm doing, and as a singer, you should create your own song, YouTube channel as well, so you can put out your music and so forth. I'm just going to pull this up as is. Okay. Back StreamYard. I've got to stop the screen. I think I figured out why we talk to ourselves, so that other people know we're busy. We're not just ignoring. Oh, Tony, where'd you go?
Oh, I was muted because I had some noise going on back here.
Oh, we lost your video.
Uh-oh.
So you're not even in StreamYard right now.
Oh,
that's all right. We'll wait for him. In the meantime, I'm showing you this sheet music right here.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah, on FarPlay we're good. You're just not in StreamYard.
Oh, so. Monique said she could see me, and I could see myself. And
you can see yourself,
you.
But I can't see you.
Oh.
Maybe I'm in the wrong room. Let me. There we go. Okay. I see what happened. Let me close that room. Now I don't have to worry about it. Okay. You know, Windows was a great idea, but keeping track of it—that's a whole nother story. So I'm going to share the screen of sheet music for you all, so that you can see and hear what it's like to try to learn from John Wetton from sheet music. And guess what? He had a co-writer, Jeffrey Downs. Let me put this on the stage for you. Got the right StreamYard now.
Just to fill you in, Jeff Downs at the time was probably one of the top 2 or 3 go-to guys in the 80s for keyboards.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. They were all in that whole Yes and
Jonathan Kane
Genesis and Asia, all over
Journey.
the place. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great stuff.
Okay, so I'm actually going to be able to play these notes for you. That's kind of what's cool here. This is called MuseScore. Can you see it okay, Tony?
It's a little small on my window, but it's taking up a lot of space. And
on the side?
Yeah.
All right, let me close that. How's that? Any better?
Better. Definitely better.
And let me see if there's I don't see a zoom option here.
My problem is I'm also doubling. I have the little window on the left and the main
close
window,
that.
So.
You don't need that.
Yeah, I don't have that option.
Really?
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, I don't like that you don't have that option.
It's okay. Even with
we
the
will
double
write them a
window,
letter. Okay. Let's see. All right, so right here it says we were in the heat of the moment. Now, when I play this, assuming I can, maybe I can't. Let's see. You know what? I'm not sure I can play this. Well, that's all right. So I can kind of show you what it would like to hear it through sheet music. So you hear this da ba 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 da ba ba. That's not what John does. Ba da da ba 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 da ba. That's not what it sounds like. Ba da ba 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 ba. Right? It's too rigid. It's too exact. So sheet music is okay for reference points. It's okay if you want to create a choir piece out of this song or something like that, but or try to do a classical version. Then you're going to want this kind of rigidity. But in Tom's world, John's world, Tony's world, I'm going to cover everybody. My world, this just isn't going to work for you folks. So just be aware of that. How do I know that? Because I used to teach this way. We used to have pianists come in, play these notes for the singers, and I always knew that there was something wrong with the way it sounded, but there wasn't anything I could do about it. We didn't have the technology. So close this guy now. Stop that screen share, and there's Tony back. He's looking so cash there. Look, he's got guitars and keyboards. He's got one of those brand new, really cool keyboards that sounds like a singer.
Oh, it's amazing.
It is amazing. We love it. Okay, so the next thing is actual learning. So I know you all wanted to come here to learn something, and you will, and you have. If you really think about it, you have learned a lot already. Let me bring this up on the stage. This is called Audacity, and this is the main tool that you will be using. And again, referring back to my Vocal Muse suite, there are exact instructions about how to do this from A to Z. Now, one thing that you all know from working with computers is that they're constantly changing the software. So you may have to Google or ask AI a couple of times, how to do something here because it's changed. But the basic function is the same, or if you know Logic, or if you know Ableton, or Sony Pro Tools, you can do it there too, and that's much more sophisticated. This is a simple version that I use because I'm a kind of in the recording world. I mean, I don't do multi-track all day long, so I'm a little bit of a simpleton. I use this for teaching rather than actual record production where I'm going to put it out on the shelf for sale. We use this for teaching. All right, so the spot that we had here, again, was, I believe it was 1 minute, 15 seconds. All right, so we're going to listen here for a moment to make sure I'm in the right spot.
'Cause it was the heat of the moment, telling me what my heart meant.
See, that memory's working.
It feels like it might be a tad bit loud.
Yeah, I was going to say from earlier. Let's try this. Let's see how it's...
It was the heat of the moment.
Is that all right, everyone? Okay, we don't want to hurt anybody's ears, including mine. But mine can sacrifice, because, hey, I'm the host, right?
What?
So, sacrifice myself to the music. Yes, John?
What?
Tony?
What?
What?
No, I can't hear what.
Thanks a lot.
Sorry.
Okay.
Delayed.
I should have known, right?
Well, you are very focused, so it's tough to get you out of the focus when you're in it.
Says you. Okay. All right, back to reality here for a moment. Okay, so let me show you how to use this. What you want to do is find the phrase that you want to learn. So Tony has picked a phrase he wants to learn from John Wetton. And we've used a live recording so that we get the real truth here, kind of like what we were looking at on Melodyne. This is not edited, as far as I know. Now, sometimes people go in and edit with Melodyne, and they do such a good job that there are still sharp and flat notes and things that are off rhythm in the processed recording because they have a good enough ear to know that they shouldn't make John Wetton sound like a choir singer. So sometimes that happens, but we're still getting the information we want to know here. So you see here I've drawn this line. It's called, the Audacity calls it a pencil mark. And this is where I'm going to start the phrase so that Tony has a couple of beats before he actually comes into the chorus. Let me move this back just a sec. These are blobs too, folks. They're not quite as obvious as the Melodyne, but you can kind of tell where a phrase starts right here. So I'm going to pick this slot right here, and when I get to the end of the phrase that Tony wants to learn, I'm going to click pause, and this will save you a lot of time. Okay, watch what happens.
Together, songs unsung, 'cause it was the heat of the moment, telling me what my heart meant.
So right there. And Tony really wanted to focus on the falsetto, so we're going to make sure we get that in here. So now I have 2 lines, left, right. Now I'm going to highlight both tracks from top to bottom across. Now I can loop this so that I can listen to it more and more and more, and all the time I want to, and I can meditate while I'm listening. We talked about that the other day. I thought that was a great idea, because listening is really where the power is. Let me show you an example of what it sounds like, or the error that I used to make, that a lot of people are still making, is just singing along with John without really listening first. Notice what this sounds like.
Together, songs unsung.
It was the heat of the moment, telling me what my heart is. Okay, so am I with him? No, I'm not with him, because I can't hear both of us at the same time. This was the big light bulb that went off in my head when I decided to create this. If we don't listen, we don't know. And there's so many details in here, even with the original tempo, that it's almost impossible to really get what John is doing while you're singing at the same time. So the key is listen over and over again. So we're going to listen to it twice at this tempo, just so that we're kind of getting a feel what it's like at this tempo before I make the big change I'm going to make, so that you understand what is good and then what is better. Here we go. Listening to it twice. It is looped. Here we go.
Together, songs unsung. 'Cause it was the heat of the moment, telling me what my heart meant. Together, songs unsung. 'Cause it was the heat of the moment, telling me what my heart meant.
Okay. So let me say this, and then I'll ask Tony a question. So be sure and subscribe and like the channel, because that way YouTube will spread this all around the world for us, so that we all can learn. What my goal with all of my students, including you all now that's watching this show, whether you're here live or whether it's later on, is for all of us to become colleagues of these great singers. Now, that won't guarantee stardom. That's not the point. I'm not a manager. I'm not a record label. I'm not trying to create everybody into stardom. But once you become a colleague of theirs, you're in a much better position if you want to take that next leap, if you can. So this is a great way to save yourself 50, 60, 80 years of singing it the old way and never really getting it. And now, with lightning speed, you're starting to understand what John's been about all of his life before he left us. And this is great. So, Tony, you had something about this line that was a little bit of history about why you wrote it. Could you pass that on to us all?
Yeah, well, the just before this section, there's a line that he sang in the original song that was, one thing led to another, we were young. And it was actually that line that became important to me when I was listening to this song. And then, of course, the falsetto part, the way he does those 2 lines are just, his dynamic, his approach, his, all of it is beautiful. But when you listen to the original recording and then you listen to him live doing this version of it, his story about this song becomes much more clear in the way he presents it here as it does as compared to the original album. The original album is a story. It's it's telling you the story behind it, why this happened. But when he sings that one line, one thing led to another, we were young. In the first original version, it's part of just, okay, one thing led to another, we were young. It's sort of a response to what was going on. But in this song, when you listen to it, it changes it and it makes it a little bit more, I'll use the word poignant. Mm-hmm. It becomes now one thing led to another, and the consequences, and we were young, and that was, the cause of the problem. So it's, the storyline changes based on how he presents it live, and it's much, much more intense the way he sings it, as calmly as he sings it. But I think, and you can correct me on this, I think it has a lot to do with the fact that he's much more emotionally attached live, and there's much more dynamic to his presentation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because he's got an audience to talk to.
Okay.
One of the difficult things about being a recording artist is it's kind of like sometimes when actors do voiceovers, they have no audience. They're not talking to anyone. There's nobody there to talk to. So they have to like imagine everything. And when you're in the studio, if you kind of have to imagine you're singing to an audience rather than the real audience. Have you heard any other live versions of it?
I've heard a couple of live versions that he's done, but they did it with the full produced version.
Oh, okay.
This is the first time I've heard it really this, I'll use the word simple.
The unplugged version?
Yeah. And it's amazing. It's amazing to me how much more the song had so much more meaning than I thought it did as I listened to him do it. It changed the whole meaning of the song for me.
So that shows us that John did an incredible job. I mean, that's what it's all about, folks. I mean, it's about emotions being produced through music, so that Tony and I and whoever listens can sit back and go, "Oh my God, that's great." And we're trained artists, so we can pick it apart if we want to, but that's not the point. Picking other artists apart is only what we're doing right now, just to learn from them. But if we're in the audience, or if we're just chilling out, we're driving down the street or whatever, we just want to hear the emotions, feel the song. When I used to teach straight technique under Seth Riggs, I couldn't listen to these singers anymore because I was always looking for perfect pitch and perfect rhythm, because that's what he taught me, and it was driving me nuts. And eventually I just said, okay, that's wrong. I don't want people to strain, so I help them match pitch without straining, but they also know that when they're singing this style of music, they're not supposed to be perfectly piano pitch. Perfect pitch based on John Wetton, but not perfect pitch based on the piano. So two different worlds, as we went back to say earlier. So this particular part, what does it say to you, Tony?
We were so caught up in what was going on at that moment. We didn't think ahead. We didn't think about anything that was the consequence of any of our reactions. It was just even the second line telling me what your heart meant. It's the only thing that mattered at that moment, where this memory is being written about, was just how they felt and nothing else. No worries about future, no worries about past, just that moment.
Yeah, the famous saying nowadays, and actually it's been going on in Asia for who knows how long, is living in the now. But that's become kind of a Western saying. And singers should live in the now when they're singing. So what we're going to be listening to now, and we're going to slow this down so we can actually hear details, is his emotions as he's producing music. But we have to learn the phrasing first. We have to have a sense of what phrasing is. Now, some people watching the show, they don't know any phrasing. They're just thinking about singing. They're just starting off. So this is going to be great information for you, but we don't want you to feel like it has to be for advanced people only. It's not. I teach emotional expression to my beginners right off the bat, because what I've found is that singers that come to me who've studied technique for years and years and years can't get emotions out, because they're constantly questioning inside their head, am I doing it right? Am I on pitch? Am I in rhythm? Is the vowel shape right? Would my voice teacher give me an A+? On and on and on. And the problem with that is there's no emotion. Even though the words are coming out, they're saying heat of the moment, but there is no heat of the moment. It's just words with no meaning. So you have to get into this right away. Otherwise, you're going to be waiting too long, and then it's going to be almost impossible for you to switch over. And I know that's a popular thought. Oh, when I get my technique right, then I'll start thinking about emotion. Well, okay. Everybody has their own path. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying that I have found this is much, much better. So we're going to slow this down. Why? So we can listen to the details. And the fact that I highlighted this area makes it possible for me to come in here and change these numbers. So I'm just going to go 35. This is already fairly slow. Some of the things we look at, we go 65, 70% slow to catch the riffs. Tony, did you happen to see yesterday's show?
I have not yet, no.
Yeah, so we had Beyonce on there, and there was a riff was going by really quick, and when we slowed it down, we noticed there were little yodels in it. It was like, instead of do you, it was a do you, and it added so much color. And it was there, of course, but when it's going that fast, a lot of us can't hear it. So we're going to use high quality stretching here. Always check this box. because you'll get much better playback quality. Preview it to kind of make sure you're in the ballpark of where you want to be. So just previewing quickly.
And we would scream together.
Okay, something is a little bit wonko here. I see the problem. Okay, so we're going to undo this. I don't want to, well, all right. Whatever it says to do here. Undo volume. Edit. Undo track remove. Oh, that was earlier on. I think we're okay. I'm going to re-highlight this. Get both tracks in. That's what happened. I didn't get both tracks in. All right, let me see what I've got.
And we would scream together, song, song, song.
All right, good. Now we can change the tempo. In Audacity, which you can't see right now, I'm going to Effect. Now I'm going to Pitch and Tempo, and now you'll see the box pop up here. And it went back to 65%. We're going to put 0 in here first because Audacity doesn't really know what you've put in here because it's a track you've just dumped in. It doesn't know what the speed is of the recording until you put 0 in here and make it level. Now we're going to go minus 35%. Oh, my typing is getting better. All right, preview it.
And we would scream together.
All right, apply it. Now again, the first part of the phrase is there so that we can get into the rhythm. It's very important when you're learning a new phrase that you start approximately one phrase early so that you get into the groove, especially when you've slowed the tempo down because now you've changed the way that it feels to you, especially if you've heard it many times in the past. So now we're going to listen to it 3 times in a row, and Brad will try to avoid talking, which is not always his strong suit in teaching. But here we go, just listening.
And we would scream together, song, song, song.
Now listen carefully.
'Cause it was the heat of the moment, telling me what my heart meant. And we would scream together, song, song, song. 'Cause it was the heat of the moment, telling me what my heart meant. And we would scream together, song, song, song. 'Cause it was the heat of the moment, telling me what my heart meant.
Okay, so Tony is the student, and he was listening very carefully because now he's going to sing along. So the process here is listen first, and when someone is doing this on their own time, I suggest 30 or 40 times. Because every time you listen to it, even this simple of a phrase, you're going to hear things you didn't hear 20 times ago. So you listen, you're going to gain. It won't be boring like it sounds like it was going to be. You're going to be, oh, that was new. Oh, that was exciting. Oh, what was he doing there? Because all these things are going by too fast for our minds to grasp. Now you say, well, I grasped it with the original speed. Well, you grasped the general feel, you grasped the general melody, but you didn't grasp the details, which is what Tony has been listening for. So now he's going to sing for us along with it to show us how it's done. So here it goes.
And we would scream together, song, song, song. 'Cause it was the heat of the moment, telling me what your heart meant. And we would scream together, song, song, song. 'Cause it was the heat of the moment,
So he was, because he listened earlier, he was pretty close. I mean, we all can hear the little offsets. Tony, what is a unison, please?
Unison, two vocals side by side. You hear them separately, and you hear two vocals. Mm-hmm. As you get to unison, it becomes one solid voice that you kind of can't tell that it's two anymore, and it takes on its own personality, I guess is the word. Yeah,
it does, kind of like a third voice. Did you notice that you were getting some unisons? Did you feel that?
I felt like I got a couple. I think I'm actually going to lower myself in this.
Oh, was the volume? I turned him down a little bit because on our side, I couldn't hear you very well.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I'm just going to bring myself down rather than you change.
Well, that's going to bring you down for us as well.
Oh,
but you make yourself happy. No, this is something.
No, I'm back to where I was.
Okay, no, that's good. Okay, so this is something, another lesson, folks, is when you're wearing headphones and singing, make your own ears really, really happy. Don't care what other people are doing, because if they tell you, oh, it didn't sound this or you didn't sound that, and then you make yourself unhappy, it's going to ruin your performance. Because you've got to be in it. You've got to be feeling. You got to be in the zone. And if other people say, oh, pulling this, you're pulling that way, no. Just block them out. Make your own headphones really happy. Ask the engineer, the sound engineer, because he's not supposed to have an opinion necessarily, to give you what you want to hear in your headphones. And again, referencing my book, it goes into a lot of detail about how to communicate with your sound men so that you make sure that you get a great recording. Because sometimes when people go in and record and they can't hear themselves, the sound engineer doesn't know that, and he thinks they're tone deaf. And so the recording gets done, it sounds terrible, and nobody knows why. So it's up to us as singers to protect ourselves and talk to the sound man. Okay, the next process here is recording Tony singing along with the music here. And we can do this in far play because even though it's my Audacity that I'm playing, we've got his latency down so that he can come in here and blend and listen back to it as if he was here in my studio, so that he can make judgments about how he could be better. That's the point. We're going to record so that Tony can listen back and decide where he can be more in unison with John. And that's all that we really care about, is the unison, both pitch and rhythm. We're not trying to be John. We'll talk about that more later. Okay, here we go.
If you don't mind, would you just bring up his voice a little bit for me?
I don't mind at all. See?
Thank you.
See, I'm a nice sound man. I'll cooperate. Okay, we brought you up a little bit more. Let's just do a real quick listen, see if that's loud enough for you. Let me save.
I'm just going to sing along with it so I can get my levels.
Let me bring this in here.
It was the heat of the moment.
Does that work? Or
that's better. Thank you.
You want more?
Yeah, you know what? Maybe a touch more.
Okay.
I'm sure that'll be enough.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I do have to admit something now.
Uh-oh.
This is kind of cheating for me a little bit because I do know the song from when I was listening to it for lots of years. When I think I was 2 when the song came out. Mm-hmm. Which, maybe.
But not at this tempo, right?
No, never. And not this version, not this tempo. But right. I did have a bit of a head start on some of the original phrasing.
Well, we'll give you some quarter on that.
Okay.
Not 50 cents, but
I'll take it.
A quarter. All right. So, okay, he's good. So now we go back to the actual recording so that Tony can learn and we can learn as well. This is how my private lessons go, everyone. When they're here in the studio, we do exactly the same thing. It's just that I'm including you all in our sessions. Aren't we nice people? There's always a hidden reason, though, right? I want you to buy the program and the book because that's why we do these things. No matter who is YouTubing, they want something in return. Don't let them fool you. There is something that they want. Here we go.
And we would scream together, song, song, song. 'Cause it was the heat of the moment, telling me what my heart meant.
All right. Way to go. Okay, we're going to bring the volume up in so that Tony's voice will match John's.
Yeah, I'm sure that this would have taken me about 20 times before I would have been that close when I'm doing it normally.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah,
Okay,
it really is.
Amplify. Folks, it amazed me 25 years ago when I was trying to decide what could I put on YouTube and not put something unethical like a vocal lesson on there, a technique. And the only thing I could come up with is how to teach people how to phrase, like musicians. Musicians learn this way all the time. And I was just blown away. You know, it's kind of like when you see a great athlete for the first time in slow motion. If you're an athlete yourself and you're wondering how that athlete does what they do, and you're starting to notice all those little details, you're going, my gosh, what have I been missing? So we're just doing the same thing here. I'm not reinventing the wheel. We're just putting it to purpose. Here we go. We're listening back for Tony.
And we would scream together songs unsung, 'cause it was the heat of the moment, telling me what my heart meant.
It's pretty close, Tony.
I'm not offended by that.
Me neither. So let's, for the sake of everybody's imagination, how would you feel had you nailed that exactly? What experience would that have given you?
Right now,
If you'd have nailed it right on, like a total unison with John.
it would have been like one of those miraculously wonderful heavenly moments. I'd probably jumped up and been like, oh my God, I nailed it.
I agree.
Yeah.
You know, I've been singing for 60 years, and the first time I did this, it was like, whoa. So now I'm going to say this, but I've had a couple of students agree and not disagree, but I feel that you hearing it yourself instead of me telling you is so much more powerful.
Yeah.
Now, they said, yes, but hearing you say you did it well and me hearing it is exponentially strong. So I'm not going to pull myself out of the equation. I'm glad that you all feel that way about my opinion. But this is hard fact evidence. Now, where do we move from here? So we would go back to the original tempo. We would go from, I think I have it at minus 35. Let me just check real quick. Get my facts right here. Yeah, we're at minus 35. Then maybe we jump to minus 25. Then maybe minus 15. You say, well, why these big jumps, Brad? Well, once you've got it slow, and we're going to talk a little bit more about some of the details. Once you've got that slow and you've mastered it the way Tony got so close to it, then speeding it up doesn't take very long at all. This is the slow process. This can take, who knows how long. Depends on your level. Tony's been a musician most of his life too, so it's a little faster for him. But it's the same process whether you're a beginner or not. It's exactly the same process. It's just that he can pick up things a little quicker. And like he said, he's been inundated with John since he was 2. And that's a good thing. Because to be a great artist, you have to become one. And how do you become one? You have to assimilate what other great artists do. It has to become a part of you. You have to use your osmosis and let it suck in so that you're really getting what you need. So then we would jump to the original tempo. And this is a matter of individual choice. There is so much information in here that if you went from the first phrase to the second to the third, and this is how my video program suggests it, you learn the entire song, phrase for phrase, pitch for pitch. It's incredible. It's like, whoa, I did it. But some people would rather like jump from song to song and just get a phrase from this artist and a phrase from this artist. Maybe you're someone who really feels strongly about the way you sing, but you just want a riff. Let's say you're a superstar, and you just heard an old Anita Baker recording, and she did a phrase that you just loved. Well, you could take Audacity or any DAW you want. That means digital audio workstation, and do exactly this process and have a new riff to your menu. Because what we're really trying to do here, folks, is program the subconscious. Like I said, we're not trying to be John. We're not trying to be John impressionists. Is that the right way to say that? Impressionists?
Impressionist?
Yeah, I think impressionist.
Yeah.
We're just trying to add this to our individual artistry. Now, let's play it one more time. I'm going to remove you, Tony. Sorry. But I want you to listen again and tell me what other things now that you've sung along with it and you've listened to it that you notice about it. And I'm going to skip ahead a little bit so we don't have to listen to the introduction. That awful introduction. Oh, here we go.
'Cause it was the heat of the moment, telling me what my heart meant.
Okay, what did you notice?
The thing that jumped out the most was when he says moment, and you could sort of hear him trail off just a little bit at the tail end of moment, and he gets a little bit shaky on it just for a second.
Yeah.
And, you know, he just lets it kind of go until it ends. He doesn't abruptly say, oh, I got shaky, I'm going to stop. He holds that phrase until it's over.
Why do you think he got shaky? We'll never know, but
No.
what could we learn from the fact that he got shaky?
Well, you know, if there have been moments that I've sung songs that were very emotional to me and I've gotten shaky.
Yes.
You know, so I'd like to think that that's the reason.
I think it is. You know, and I'm sure he, you know, back in the past would have been happy about that as well. Yeah, these little things that we're hearing at slow speeds that we might think are wrong if we go back into that perfection mindset. Heat of the moment. There's no emotion there. Say, what is Brad doing? Turn him off. Shut the show off. It should be like Tony mentioned, heat of the moment. And you don't know where that's going to end or start, or if there's going to be any vibrato or no vibrato. It doesn't matter. What matters is that I was into that. I tried to be in that moment. I really don't know it well enough to do a great job. Tony did a better job. But that's the long-term goal, is to learn what is the emotion. Anything else that you noticed?
Not anything that we haven't. Can we hear it again? Would
What
you
about the
mind?
falsetto part? I'm going to have you focus on that,
Okay.
because that was important to you.
Very.
'Cause it was the heat of the moment, telling me what my heart meant.
His placement on his falsetto, it's almost tough to not tell that it's quote unquote head voice, because he makes the transition into it so clean, and he keeps his tone. And even towards the tail end, you know, when the pitch sort of varies just a tiny bit, it's still the same thing. It still has that half a second where you can feel that it you know, you can feel the tension in his voice, not
Tension, yes.
his vocally, but the way it feels.
Emotionally, yeah. So let's just talk about another thing Audacity does for, especially, well, let's say a woman wanted to sing the song. Actually, she could probably learn it in this key, but it wouldn't have the same feel. So I would suggest that they transpose it up. For this particular demonstration, we're going to see what it looks like if we transpose it down. So let's say, just for the sake of argument, that the person who wanted to, there was a male who wanted to learn this from John, couldn't hit the falsetto note. All right? So then what are you going to do? Well, you could go to a voice teacher, and that would be a great idea, to learn how. But what about in the meantime? What you're going to do is change the key. Let me rescrub this. Make sure we get all this in here. All right, so if I go to Effect and go to Change Pitch. So let's say, boop, what is that? So that's a B. So let's say that was too hard, so we could take it down to a G. Still be falsetto, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we could do that. And so we go here, put a 0 in again to make sure Audacity knows that this is the original key. And what did I say? We're going to 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 notes. Semitones down, by the way. Always say semitones, because otherwise you confuse people. Because if you're in a certain key and you say step, they don't know if it's a whole step or a half step. And in here in Audacity, you'll see it says semitones. So we're going to preview down for...
And we would scream together.
Okay, that works. Okay, I'm going to click apply. I'm going to save us a little bit of time here. We don't need to hear the introduction for this example. We're just going to hear that the falsetto is going to be much easier to hit now.
Telling me what my heart been.
So it's going to be a lot easier than So, maybe you go lower, maybe you don't go as low. It's up to you. You got to feel what's comfortable in your own voice. Nothing I'm showing you today is written in stone. Feel free to change it however you want to make it work for you. This is what it's for. It's a learning tool. It just so happens that for some reason I stumbled upon it and I'm teaching it. I'm not selfish about this. I hope other voice teachers start doing it too, because again, I think the more people that sing well out there, the happier the whole world is. We don't have to always go to stars, to hear great singing. If we've got great singers in the casinos here in Las Vegas, if we've got great singers on the corners doing busking, if we've got great singers at the karaoke, it just makes the world a better place. So let's all enjoy it. So again, he would go back, he would get the original tempo, so forth, original key, if he could hit the notes, which Tony can. You heard him. And that would be the wrap on this. Any questions about this? Any in chat?
I'm going to actually catch you up real quick. So
Okay.
Monique commented a couple of times. Thank you very much, Monique. She said, nice, good job. And then she said, well, as an emotional singer, I felt it more from you this time. So I think that's a bit of kudos to you and I, my friend.
Well, thank you, Monique.
Thank you, Monique.
She's such a positive person.
I love that. That's beautiful.
Anything else?
No, I just, like I said, I know that had I not known the song quite as well as I do from listening to it, I think I would have had to put a lot more time into that initial
It takes time.
run.
And, even if you don't master it, you get something anyway.
Yeah. Well, the nice thing about this, too, is I know what'll happen once I get it in my head this way and I actually go out and do it, and perform it wherever it is that I'm doing my thing. Eventually, I'm going to just it's going to become more of my own presentation rather than John Wetton's, but at least I've got this reference. But I know it'll become mine eventually.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned it. Now, Tony's also a musician, so he gets to, play the way he wants to for himself. But going back to, I'm not going to pull it up on the screen, but just when you've done this with Audacity, then you remove John's voice, especially if you've used a stem splitter, which we won't go into. Then you can sing exactly with John's musicians and make up your own. So you can take what you learned from John and then start to create your own version of this. Now, if you want to do something that you're going to release, then you do not use his band. You use your own band to create an entirely different feel, an entirely different style, so that it is your art. Now, one more thing that I'm going to impose upon you all today is this little demo that I made, had one of my students make, so that you could see kind of from A to B in 1 minute how this all works. So let me pull it up on the stage. Yeah, here he is. Okay. Now, there's a lot of self-explanatory information in here, so I'll get this on the stage. Give me a moment. That's not the way to get there. Here we go. So you'll see text in the middle, in between each section, so you'll be able to follow along, and I won't need to interject. But there's a very fast riff in this, I will say that ahead of time, that took Melodyne to figure out what notes Ed was singing, because it could have been this or this. It was almost impossible to tell, because he was doing this. On Melodyne, it was showing that the note was right in between two notes. So we had to figure it out, and this is what we came up with. And instead of playing 5 notes, he only sang 4, and he did that in 16 notes in one bar. So instead of going and ending on 1, he decided to end on this is counted like this: 1 E and 1 E and Most people will go 1 E and 2. So again, you never figure that out if you don't slow it down and really take a look at it. Okay, here's the demo. As soon as I get there we go. It's interesting to go from the stage and then back to actually what you're supposed to click on. Here we go. Hi, this is Brad Chapman, Radical Vocal Coach. I'm going to show you how Ed Sheeran is such a great, incredible star, etc. In other words, not only him, but you'll see why it adapts to any singer. The way we try to learn from these people has not been working, Didn't work for me, doesn't work for hardly any student I've had or anybody I've ever known. So I'm going to show you the way we do it, and you'll see why it doesn't work. Then I'll show you the results of my VMS system, and you're going to love it. Hang on for a great ride.
Well, I'm in love with the shape of you. We push and pull like a magnet do. Although my heart is falling too. I'm in love with your body now.
Well, I'm in love with the shape of you. We push and pull like a magnet do. And though my heart keeps falling too, I'm in love with your body now.
Or I'm in love with the shape of you. We push and pull like a magnet do. Although my heart keeps falling too, I'm in love with your body now.
And as Tony mentioned, when the singer was done with this and heard it back, it was like, yes! Because that riff is really, really fast. It's nice to know the voice can do that. I would almost say it's faster than a lot of the stuff we hear from the black gospel artists. And he was ripping. It's just, anyway, so again, amazing stuff, amazing things, and you can learn it all here. If you didn't get a chance to look at my video program, or if you choose not to, you can rewind this and play it back and get a lot of information from here. Again, I'm not trying to hoard this information. I'm trying to expose it. And the Sing for Field book is a real eye-opener for people who want to know how it's done emotionally rather than technically. We're not. I do teach technique. I'm not putting a squash on it, like don't use technique. That's not the point. The point is that it's under discussed. It hasn't been discussed enough, and the celebrities I've worked with already knew how to do it. Some of them I did teach it to, others already knew, so put me in a good position to write the book. So hope you all enjoy it. Any last comments from Tony Silva?
Yeah, actually something popped into my head a few minutes ago, and I was holding on to it, so I'm glad I got a chance to let you know. Aside from you helping me sing healthier, which I was worried about, because I had a history of some issues vocally. Aside from helping me sing healthier, you've actually gotten me to the point where that little switch doesn't bother me anymore if I feel myself doing something that isn't exact. It doesn't matter what's coming out as long as I know it's feeling right, and as long as I know I'm not hurting myself. And I was one of those guys until just a few months ago where everything I did, I was always focusing, oh my God, it's got to be this, it's got to sound like this, it's got to land here, it's got to be this way. And that thought was constantly flowing. And that switch doesn't go off on me anymore. Now I'm just singing.
Wow, that's impressive. It hasn't been that long for you to turn the switch off that fast.
No, it happened quickly. Well, I'm completely in your hands with all this. You know this, so I trust what you're giving me, and I've accepted it. And when I'm starting to feel it, I know that it's right, so I just let it happen.
Well, thank you. And Tony's been getting some other support, too. He gets it from his audience and from his wife. I'm not the only one he has to trust. He sees the audience response. He knows it's different than it used to be, and he knows that it's more positive. And his wife tells him about how when he sings now, it brings back floods of great memories of their relationship and memories of right now, So here's the saying that I've come up with, because again, people talk about things in different ways, so sometimes I restructure them for my own way of saying it. And I would tell you all, as a fact, because it's been proven over and over again in many different ways by actors throughout the centuries, if you feel it, if you feel the story, if you feel the emotions of that song, of those words, we'll feel it too. You don't have to wonder. In fact, I strongly suggest that people do not do this when they walk off stage. They say, how did I do? Don't ever ask that question. They don't know how you did, but they do know what they felt. So you come off the stage and first of all, you already know that they felt it. So that's great. You get off the stage with confidence instead of fear. And then the other thing is that you say, oh, well, if you're talking to them and a discussion comes up, well, what did you feel? And then that way you can get a sense of did they feel what you felt? Because we know they felt something, but we don't know for sure what it is. You could have been saying something very happy and they interpreted it as being very angry. Not by you, but in their own bias, right? So you don't know I think we've all lived long. Most of us have lived long enough to know that when we say something, we don't always know that people are hearing or feeling what we're actually trying to communicate. So you can go back and forth with them a little bit and say, yeah, that's pretty close, or well, that's interesting. But you will learn something from that you won't learn with the other question. And you will gain confidence even going on stage, because you know that everything is prepared, everything is ready, you're feeling it. You don't have to worry about whether they're going to like it or not. You're just going to get there and put out your emotions, and that's going to be great, because not everybody's going to like your emotions. I can't guarantee you that one. No way around that one. But the fact that they felt it means you did a fantastic job. Right on. Okay, we'll close the show. Thank you, everyone. Please let me put up this funny little thing that StreamYard gives us. Please like and subscribe so that we get YouTube support in bringing this dream out into the world. As many people can see it as possible. And also, when you subscribe, you get some idea of when my next show is going to be, because I can't tell you when it's going to be, because I only do this when I have time away from my private teaching, which is what I love to do the most. And I love to hear Tony tell me all those things. So if I didn't teach, I wouldn't hear those things. Right? So, he just popped up. Your camera did a little jump on you.
Oh, did it? Oh.
Yeah, you went from the background to like way up the front. Oh. Anyway, that's cool. It's nice to have this technology. So again, thank you all so much for showing up. Please subscribe and like, and we'll see you at the next show. And Monet, have a great time singing. I know you will. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.